autistic symptoms that were never autistic in the first place. Being forgetful. The reason why you're so forgetful is because you're always being taught to forgive and forget. So you were taught to suppress your emotions, suppress your trauma to the point where it's like you were taught to just like as soon as conflict happens, you forget how the person, you just force yourself to forget how the person treats you to the point where you forget things easily. Like, that's not autism, that's trauma. A lot of neurotypicals go through this. A lot of neurotypicals go through this. So, being easily forgetful is not autistic. Everything you do is not autistic. It is okay to forgive and not forget. Like when you forgive and not forget, you're protecting yourself. But holding a grudge is staying mad at the person. Forgiving and not forgetting is like this. I'm not going to forget just so I can protect myself from you. But I'm just going to choose not to be mad at you. Number 2, fight flight response. The reason why like when you like fight f- flight freeze response, you know how when somebody asks you a simple question and then you just freeze, and then the people look at you like you're up to something when you're really not. That's because in your childhood, when you were just minding your business, or maybe you were doing something, when your parents ask you where something is, you know you're gonna get beat, so you just freeze. So now you take that to your adulthood, and then when strangers or friends or anybody ask you a simple question, you just freeze. You don't know what to do. So now people think that you're up to something, but because in your childhood, because in your childhood, when your parents ask you simple questions like, where's my watch? Or where's my candy? When your parents ask you simple questions like those, you know you're gonna get beat. So you just freeze. So that fight, flight, freeze response, that's not autism, that is trauma. Number 3, have lacking boundaries. Lacking boundaries as an autistic person does not mean that you're autistic. It does not have anything to do with autism. Lacking boundaries, if you lack boundaries, you probably have somebody in your life who constantly crosses your boundaries to the point where it's either your family does it, your parents, a friend, a boyfriend, a girlfriend. They don't even have to go through your stuff. They could tell you stuff like friends don't keep secrets from each other, family don't keep secrets from each other, to the point where you become a danger to yourself or others because you can't shut your mouth. Uh you just lack boundaries. Like, that's not normal. That is not normal. So it's like lacking boundaries has nothing to do with autism. That's because of trauma. Like, it's not cute. It's not autistic. Like, you can be autistic and have boundaries. And if you lack boundaries, if you're autistic and you lack boundaries, and you know somebody who constantly crosses your boundaries, you need to cut that person out of your life. And if that gotta be family, if that person is family, then do it. If this person gotta be family, then do it. Like, if this person constantly crosses your boundaries, cut them off. I don't care if this person is your family. I don't care if this person is your mother, your father. They're not entitled to your presence. Just because everybody got trauma does not mean it's normal. Like, just because it's common does not mean it's normal, and that's how it should be. Like, yeah, everybody got their wounds, but that's not how it should be. And having those type of wounds is not part of autism at all. You can be autistic and have it together. Being shy. I know not all autistic people are shy, but I just gotta put that out there. Because I was shy when I was autistic. So I'm a little bit, just a little bit, but I'm gonna get rid of my shy voice one day. But yeah. Being shy is not an autistic symptom. Being shy comes from a lack of boundaries. Like, being shy is not a good thing. People always like to say being shy is a good thing. Like, being shy is not a good thing. Like one thing is, like, people always like to say, like, oh, I dated a shy girl and it was great. Yeah, you dated her because she's shy, working on not being shy. If she was shy and she was staying in that shy zone, your relationship would not last with her. So, because you're gonna be trying to kiss her and then she's gonna be running away from you, and then everybody gonna be looking at you like you some kind of predator, and then like she gonna be making you look crazy. Like, no. Like, being shy is not a good thing. Shy people gotta step their game up. They gotta get rid of their shy, small voice. Being shy just comes from a lack of boundaries. Like, it comes from trauma. It comes from trauma. They got somebody somewhere crossing their boundaries, whether it's their friends or their family members. They've been a pushover when it comes to their friends, or at least to their family members, or to their parents. They tolerate, I'm going to just say it, they tolerate BS from their boyfriend, their girlfriend, a family member, or they tolerate BS from someone toxic, which is what makes them shy. Which is why being shy is not a good thing. If they dealt with healthier people, if they've dealt with healthier people, if they were exposed to healthier people, if they grew up and were exposed to healthier people, or they don't even have to grow up with healthier people. if they were to heal from the trauma of being around toxic people, they would have been more, they would have been more bolder. They would have been more bolder. They would have been they would have been more bolder, more confident. They would be less likely to be pushovers. And even though I know like some shy people have their strengths and their weaknesses, but if they still shy, they gotta work on all their weaknesses. They gotta work on all their weaknesses. They can't be, I know they can't be perfect, but they gotta have a growth mentality and work on themselves and heal from their traumas. So it's like being shy is not a good thing. Because like, how do I say this? How do I say this? Being around the wrong type of people can make you shy and it can make you a pushover. So it's best to heal from that. So back to what I was saying, being shy is not an autistic trait, it's not an autistic symptom. It is more trauma based. Like it all comes from trauma. It is not autistic. Like even though some of the things that autistic people do are autistic, most of the autistic symptoms are trauma based. Everything you do is not autistic. Everything you do is not autistic. You can be autistic and have it together. So, and if you're autistic and you do not have it together, get it together. God bless.